Today I'm going to be reading on Kash Patel and on Erika Kirk. All right, I think Kash Patel's should go fairly quickly. Let's just see. I'm just going to use my regular weight deck. The link would be to an Albano style with this white back, if you like that style. I can say that it's a good deck. It really will last without shredding up. And it's a semi-gloss, um, which is good for that, will wear and not be overly expensive. So, I'll try to link that. All right. Now, let's see. Is Kash Patel, he is a Pisces. Is he going to be fired? Is he on the chopping block? I really am surprised he's beating Hegseth to it, but I think he's going to do that. I did always see him not having a good outcome. And I'm just curious, is now his, end cycle with this position? Hmm. Well, there's some partnership with a King of Pentacles, or a friendship, or a tie, a bond. This could be with Miller, potentially, as he's a Virgo, but it could be someone else. We're highlighting a friendship bond, and hmm, there is some sort of attention, and he gets like a dream come true card with the 9 of Cups, some sort of ego out front, trying to get. It's very pride heavy. It's cringeworthy, really. I don't know. This person may excessively exalt his exaltations, this support from someone, it seems like. Maybe somebody with a bit of cash. Didn't mean to do that. Anyway, now we get a Queen of Cups, though. And she's feeling, or he's, and I think this is Erika Kirk. And she's burning with the fever of revenge, um, with the 10 of Wands here. And she's a Scorpio. And I think she's making Patel's life, um, she's in his ear. She's definitely would be like saying, you need to do this and da da da. I really feel like I'm getting that vibe. And it's a bit of a bother. I think it makes him more stressed because she's stressed. Oh, but she's not gonna, you piss off a Scorpio. Good luck, you know. Both my husband and one of my children are. Yeah, you don't want to do that. They don't forget, they don't forgive. It's very, very, very firm about that. We get the Empress, and we get the Sun. This feels like some kind of favor. He's going to be, there's clarity. He may start supporting her cause. He might feel pressured, or something's going to become clear there. Yeah, and he's got to use the rules of law, trying not to go to an extreme. I think she might be pushing him to go to an extreme, and he's like, he's in between a rock and a hard place, because I think he's going to be saying, there's, I can't do that. There's certain laws, that rules and whatnot, that prevent me from cracking down the way you want to crack down. He's going to go. This is him, and this is, I think, leaving. I just felt that. It's not the walking away. What is this? There's a woman here that offers something here. Is he going to go? I'm wondering if Patel is going to be, I don't know, sent away for something. Usually this is like, well, there's going to be clarity, greater clarity coming. And I don't know. I actually would think, with the influence of the 6 of Swords, because it's bringing choppy water to a calmer water through time. It could be that he's going to try to temper some of her demands in pursuing people, or where this is concerned, whatever her actions are that she's going to demand of him. I think it's with excess, and he's going to be even saying, I can't do that, and that could be a problem for him with her. And I think he would bring up that there's limitations, that there are rules, that, letting her know that. And I see a woman here, a Queen of Wands, approaching Patel with some ideas, or with an offer. I see Justice and a Queen of Swords. There is some possible decision with the law, or a lawsuit. There's clarity, though, too, where the law is concerned. Okay, maybe some of the laws that she's going to be demanding of him as an FBI agent, not agent, but head, he's just not going to be able to do. I do think he's going to feel very pressured because of her position currently, and the hot potato. I'm sorry, I think it's got too much attention. I think the kids in the schools every day, we should be focusing on that. We need to become aware of this too. We can do both things, but then I find the news just annoying. It everywhere you look, and people mimic the algorithm. And I try to put what I think is necessary up. Um, will be helpful, but I try not to get too, um, like, do a gazillion uh, videos so that people have to watch it. I just try to do what I feel like is getting the point across, and nothing more. Otherwise, I'm being redundant. Um, but he has something here with a legal choice or just a, you know, maybe even a reminder of what the law is. I think she's going to be pushing him. There's going to be other people in his ear about this. I don't know. And Patel has got to not necessarily leave, but he's got to try and make it better and deal with her on his back big time. Couldn't happen to a better fellow. Um, but I see him trying to handle this, and it is difficult. But I think he'll be backed up by law. However, I'm sure that won't stop Miss Erica, so she gets a reading all on her own here next. I see acceleration for him of stress and activities. Um, hens coming home to roost that he has to deal with. And we're looking also at those. I feel like Erica. I don't know how much money this lady has, but she thinks that she's of the upper echelon here, the elite. There's also his desire to be part of the club, the country club, of the Trump country club at the White House. And, you know, I just don't see that he's going to do anything but be a coward. He's, mm, I shouldn't say that, but yeah, you know, he's concerned with money. He's concerned with a luxury life and being part of that upper 1% and keeping them happy. That's what shows up. So it can be the influence too of people with money on the law. It's like that might be the law, but who's going to enforce it in real time? Um, the Knight of Swords. This is him being, just reactive and making haste. He's too quick. He's too off the cuff. He's too reactionary. And he doesn't watch his words. He's reckless. And there's violence. This is inciting of violence. So I see him and this upper 1% that want to incite violence. And he's kind of caught in the middle with it. And I think he's being pressured to uh, allow these people to act like this. And they're acting like this because they think that they're right on up there like a politician. Who is Charlie Kirk? He's nobody, most people didn't know who he was unless they're young enough that they know all about the 4chan crap and all of that. Um, and that whole bunch of folks that are involved in that. Otherwise, most people um, that are over 30 don't know and don't care. But we should be aware because there's some really deluded people and young people that are don't have proper guidance around them that's compassionate and accepting. There's too much enabling. But anyway, so I see this time of with her, this call to violence, this stirring of violence. It's the beginning, trying to whip up that sentiment suddenly and viciously. And the tower. Something happens that Patel does not expect, and it's going to be his, I think, possible out you go. We can't come back from this tower moment with authority. I think maybe this could be Trump firing him. You're fired. Um, there's uncertainty then he gets with the moon, and he has an uncertain future. A lot of fears then for him will be coming up, and there's things he was trying to cover up. I think where he was not competent on the job and things like that. And I think, oh, what's this? Oh, well, that's what Patel ended up doing. Things can be screwed up. Um, there's a numbness, I think a depressive numbness and shock for him. And I think in connection to Trump, King of Swords. And Trump just may not care at the end of the day, too. This could be Trump's apathy and Patel's indifference, or both, for both of them. So I do see he's going to, looks like there's a big problem, and it could come through this association or through the connection of this case of Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk's wife. There could be some trouble stirred up there that is the last straw, and I think will get him bounced. Something big ends up happening there. Big mistake. And yeah, he's going to be in a time of reflection and dark night of the soul, uh, but looking for hope and in a waiting pattern. Um, Probably a pretty dark pattern too. Kind of shell shocked, even himself, by that tower event coming, whatever that is. But it's, I feel, in connection to what looked like Erika, clearly, um, Kirk, and her pressure upon him to do what she wants him to do. And what the limits of the law then are, he's still going to be pressured no matter what he comes up with. And I think he might lapse his integrity there a bit and get in trouble for it in some spectacular way. Some cringe-worthy tower, scandalous mess up. Okay, now let's take a look at Erika Kirk. So it looks like, where Kash Patel is concerned, that he's definitely showing signs of continuing to mess up, and he's going to mess up one more huge time, and he's gone. And it's going to left him shook. It's going to surprise him, really surprise him. It's going to be a whopper. So watch that space. And I think it's connected to Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk. All right. Show us Erika Kirk. What is she doing moving forward with this revenge? What do we need to know about her and the future and the now? Show us, please, what we need to be aware of with regard to Erika Kirk. We get a King of Wands and the past. Could be a sibling, a brother, maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything about the woman more than her birth date. And, these people, again, limited time and energy that I don't want to spend on them. But unfortunately, they enter our news cycle, and can influence our world. The Chariot and the Queen of Pentacles. I'm seeing action. She's moving forward. I think she's gathering her entourage, her people, to assist her. I don't know if a brother or a sibling or some adult male from her past now. Maybe, like I said, I don't know. It could be somebody that's like a brother or a cousin or that she has a past with, it feels like childhood. Um, could also be an adult son. I don't know how old she is. it's hard for me to tell some of the ages of people these days because people that are a lot younger look a lot older. It's really true. Um, I think I look my age. Oh, by the way, I have caught the attention of a few Trump trolls. That's okay. I won't repeat what they said just to make them upset. But it's like, oh, I scored. I got under your skin. Anyway, so I see her getting people ready around her to help her with her plans. There's a female and a male there, and we get a page of swords and a king of cups. This is being very, very watchful concerning a king of cups. I think this is her watching Patel. That's so interesting. She showed up in his reading and now he's showing up in hers. And this is her trying to move his dial, I think, and watch him very closely. It's like surveillance type of a card. You know, she's watching him to see what he's choosing to do, how he's choosing to pursue this, and the tone he takes. She's going to micromanage him. She's going to want to. I get the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Wands. I think she's going to be having people get back to her with ideas, uh, and help her put together some sort of movement, organization, uh, that she makes in the wake of his passing as something that is based basically on revenge. She's going to say that it's a good thing that, no, it's not. It's toxic, and really it's toxic for her and for our environment. She's not doing a positive, creative, healing, uh, generous, benevolent response. It is not a healthy response. It is just reacting on low inclination. And we get indifference by some people. And there's, she's not satisfied with what they're doing. They're not doing it. She's not satisfied with what they're coming up with. It's not what she wants. She feels like they're inactive and inept. And she's somewhat right. But it's up and down. She's also, I think her mood swings are going wild. And we've got kind of a manic kind of, I'm sorry, but a manic kind of an energy mindset. And I feel like there's religious overtones to it, really conservative religious overtones. She'll be bringing God up a lot, quoting scripture to, I'm sure, excuse what she wants to do or what she proposes or where she's going. Or, she might, the words might be something, but the actions show another, you know. She's in delusion through her anger. Um, these are plans, goals, earning money, raising money, fundraising for it, getting donations, getting help, people that will donate time or money, and especially the wealthy with the Nine of Pentacles next to the Seven of Pentacles. She wants wealthy people, though, not you poors. She's extreme. We're shown that with the Temperance card popping up saying, whoa, 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 whoa. This mixture is too concentrated over here. And it could be that Trump has to teach her that she's not in charge. With the King of Swords, and there's tempering. that's coming in. It's actually working on tempering, I think, his extremes too. I think that because he's going to have to stop what he's doing to deal with what she's got rolling here, got going on. I think Trump might initially support her, but then there could be some issues with where she's going, that where she's trying to push too much control. I think Trump will try to help her, to enable her a bit. Definitely where funding's concerned, people that he could point her to, maybe. We get her and the card of abandonment, neglect, and an ending. I feel like this is having to walk away and move on and release her pain. I don't think that she's going to get everything the way she wants it to be sorted out or responded to or things changed, but she's going to continue to be an earache for the FBI and Trump. There is death. Really don't like the cards for her. Death, suffering with the 10 of swords, but having to release pain. This could be her husband's passing, but it could also be, I hope that she's not stirring up people to go after others and cause more loss. Hopefully, this is her letting go of that and stepping away from it. Uh, I see a defensive excuse feeling here with those that might abandon, throw away their lives, and go out and seek revenge. I think Trump is going to have to end up telling her, you got to cool down, or something. There's a tempering of her attempt to stir revenge in society. I'm getting the Knight of Wands. This is the violence or targeting. This could also be passion. This could be a bonding that has a great deal of passion for her, or support. She's, I feel like, going to find, maybe this is another love or a love interest or a really passionate friendship. I don't know. But she's very passionately bonded to someone there. And I'm getting the Wheel of Fortune. There's a change, and there's meanness. There's a cycle of cruelty. Now I don't know if, like, is this her bonding up with Trump on um, a plan to enact something? I think so. It wouldn't surprise me if Trump allows her to have more say than she ever should. She's not somebody that's, you know, definitely not honoring the parents of children that are just being killed every day in America at school shootings. It's really injustice for some, and special justice for others that he views as one of his wealthy people, or someone that brings him attention. And until she brings him attention that isn't good, he's going to, I think, use her as a distraction and still kind of heat up this thing with this stupid assassination. I'm getting the high priestess. There's secrets with her and doing things in secret and accelerating it. So I see her stirring up trouble. Yes, I do. And I see her trying to go through powerful channels who I think will somewhat bend to her, but who will ultimately say, I have limits. You can't, I can't do exactly what, go as far as you want, but I'll do this kind of thing. It's pathetic. I get the sun and delusion. There's going to become clear that this delusion going on has is got to be clarified. This can't be normalized. This is craziness. This is not sensible. And we get a Queen of Swords quite willing to say, this is nonsense, knock it off. And she ends it. It could be someone that's court, like a judge. There's something official of knock it off to her, to Erika. And that what she's following is some kind of delusional rant. So she could get in trouble with the law or come before the law or be told by the law, lady, this is not the way. Page of Wands and Judgment, yeah, that you have to be careful and because you can be held to account for what you invoke. And this is a time of growing awareness and there's awakening, more people becoming aware. And so we're going to learn more about people like Tyler and his partner and other disaffected folk um, that are out there. We need to learn about it. Uh, and they need to be kept from killing people like they are. It's not right. It's not right. It's not safe for the public. We don't need this. We need people changing laws, fixing the community, not shooting at each other and belly aching and bickering with one another, you know? And I do see the majority of Americans who don't get caught up in the sideshow saying, great big middle finger to you guys for not working on our nation. You're just continuing to uh, be in petty arguments with each other, promoting violence uh, and getting clicks and just being shallow as hell, you know? So let's see. Will Erica be stopped at some point from whipping up uh, provocative sentiment in people and playing on their emotions? Because that's not okay. It's not okay for more innocent people that would normally get involved in her family's business uh, get enmeshed in that. It's really not all right. Nobody needs to go to prison for and hurt someone else and get involved in their karma. Stay away from it. Take care of your family, be a good person, mind your business. Will she be stopped? I think probably, because here we have the Strength card and the Nine of Cups. So I think yes, there's some certain things that will come out. There's some secrets here uh, that we have to reveal about her intentions, what her real shaping up motivations are. And I think people will be watching her very closely, and she'll be an earache in Patel's ear. I just feel it. um, the magician, and that comes. This is being artfully up my sleeve. Somebody trying to trick. Somebody trying to manipulate and conceal things. I think there's things with her that she's not going to be upfront about, that she's hiding, that she's using in a very manipulative, unethical way. We get the death, could be the death of her husband, um, and grief, loss, mourning. I think she's also still very much in a grieving cycle, and her actions are coming out of that and not out of a clear mind. That's another thing. She's still very much focused and hyper focused on her personal loss and making it a national one. And it's really not about that. Here is the temptation to do the wrong thing and just looking for the temptation, looking for a moment when you can latch on to something that's negative, being aware, people watching as well, watching her. And I think evaluating her with the Page of Swords as in a negative, controlled, allowing the negative to control her shadow to control her intentions, all of that. It is impulsive and it is haste. It isn't, there isn't a lot of thought behind it. It's not, it's not mindful. And it's also, I think, pushing one's religious beliefs upon society, imposing very conservative, idealized nonsense. There's that over religious, using religion in a manipulative way I don't like. And I see the Knight of Pentacles. And financially, I think she feels like she's in going to be in tough shape. And she could be. Um, and maybe that's why she's also looking to get this money coming in if she creates this organization. But I think what she's going to end up doing with it is going to come into problems legally with the law, with what she tries to push. And she might even be called out by a judge or someone like that to say that's not happening. End it, and it ends. At least her attempts in that direction will. I think she will pull back a little bit. She's still in shock. She's still in grief, and I don't think she realizes that. She's hyper defensive still. And I don't think physically her health probably at the present would be all that great. She might not be sleeping well, that kind of stuff. And I'm sure the effects of what happened with losing her spouse would affect her. Queen of Pentacles. This is someone that I think represents the happy family. I think she's going to try and get a lot of like MAGA women behind her. But I get Temperance again and that Queen of Swords saying, no, 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 no. You know, these are the rules. You have to stay within this, framework. These are the laws. So I think that she will face some sort of a legal uh, power that lets her know that she's got to tone it down. And she might then step back out of also continuing to process her grief because I don't think that she's mentally stable at this time. She's very, it shows it, torn up with it. And I think her personality is intense, especially as a Scorpio. Mm. Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, she's going to throw herself into, I think, his legacy work or their legacy, some sort of business, maybe. Queen of Wands and fighting. I think she will go up against other women involved. Who knows? Could be Loomer and her locking horns. I don't know. Again, she really wants to keep the money and those with money in her ring, in her circle. She does not want to be poor. And I think that she's afraid of, now that her husband's no longer there, of becoming irrelevant and not having enough money and being destitute. So I see her moving towards people with money that share her ideology and people that she can manipulate to try and support her. Some women will help her out, but not nearly, I think, the number that she seeks. And even if she did get the number, she still wouldn't be content with it. I feel like um, I'm getting some foolishness around a King of Wands here. I think this could be somebody that chooses to be influenced by her encouragement, maybe an adult male, short temper, could be easily influenced with that Fool card. Naive, can be easily, guided to do dangerous or very risky, stupid things that they haven't a clue about. Um, and we get the Emperor. We get authority, and I think authority stepping in and taking action in time. But I do. I think that she's going to be out there trying to do what she can and coming up against obstacles of the law. I think that she's should be taking time off just to go and uh, do something for her spirit that isn't destructive. I think that she invites destruction upon herself. And I think we all do when we act like that. Let me just see. What is the result? Is she going to step back from this or alter her mindset and pursuing this revenge and staying in the negative and the angry and not really processing the grief? I think her husband right now, I don't think he's completely transitioned. I think he is watching what she's doing. Just got a sense of him watching her when she was asleep. It's just a picture it came to me. So let's just see. Will she be very effective in stirring up sentiment? What will happen with that? This is using the family angle and the being the ideal family picture, promoting that idea and trying to hold money, hold control, be maintain relevancy, especially control though. Scorpio's big on that. We have a sense of abandonment and separation. I think she feels his loss very keenly, feels abandoned. It feels like she feels very vulnerable. And that's probably also why she's got this gripping. I don't blame anyone for that after that. I just wish that they weren't so propagandized hate. Strength, and she's going to have to learn how to control herself and let go of all of that nonsense. She's going to be called to use self restraint, the lessons of self restraint. She's going to run into trouble when she doesn't, and it's going to exhaust her till she surrenders to having some self control. The magician, this is her wanting just to go out there and, you know, just go after people without any thought or concern. The Knight of Swords doesn't, shoots first and asks later. And this is manipulation. And this is trying to make this kind of activity that's sudden, disruptive, potentially violent happen. And there's money and an end, and family and an end. There's completion. I think it's going to be like pumping air into something, but a lot of it gets lost. It's not well, because it's not based on something good. There's an end that she's got to accept and let go of. Completion of with family and society and big money. All right. So we have the Six of Pentacles. To me, sorry, that's help with money, donations, favors, and expanding a business or her ideas, maybe even overseas. Getting support from people overseas that identify with her rhetoric. Ugh, this is ugly. So I think she has some success in it. But I think that once it plays its role, it's gone. King of Wands, Page of Swords. She's being, I think, monitored. Page of Pentacles, a Queen of Wands. I feel like, again, she's looking for people to further her rhetoric, support, and post her ideas, show the support. But this ends. She's not, there's going to be people saying you need to allow him to be dead. You need to just take a breath. It's what it feels like to me. And she's still like, no, but, and I just feel like people are like, you need to step back. That's the attitude I get that's pervasive with this plan of, I think, revenge and it taking, and really what she's looking for is to kill other people. I'm sorry, but um, this revenge, it's not revenge of like, I'm going to ruin your life. It's like, I'm going to end you, like end people. And I think that's what's going to become clear to people with her, and that this is not okay. Yeah, it needs temperance. This is, no, it's, you disagree with people, whatever, but your way is wrong. And she's an extremist. She's going to be seen as an extremist. This is her with the temperance. And that she's driven by her emotions as well to an extreme. And that she's in her grief and in an extreme. Not sleeping, probably. There could be some psychosis potentially from lack of sleep, given, the state, that the shock and all of that. Mentally, you're like scrambled eggs. Yeah, up and down, unstable. I'm being really shown that she's unstable and will, I think, not do herself any favors by prolonging and actually making things worse mentally Ooh, I don't like it for her. I feel like there's psychosis that starts off from lack of that could come up, when you're in grief and you've trying to have the funeral and do all of that. It's like she doesn't rebound. She kind of remains in deficient state. Yeah, that she's trying to achieve certain goals before she's rested herself or gotten well herself or been through her grief. She's not doing things wisely. I think she's going to have to pull back and, she's going to catch people, I think, saying, you need to talk to somebody, you need a therapist. um, I think it's seriously something that she needs to watch out for. Plus, I think moodiness, shifts in mood, I got that, might, you know, just be one mood one moment, an extreme mood another moment. It's really, I think, significant. Yeah. I think a light is going to get put on her. I do. I think she will be exposed because of what she's going out there and pushing. And some people just aren't going to like it. And they're going to bring it to light and expose her secrets. And it's all based on emotion as well, with the Ace of Cups, an overflow of emotional grief, anger, whatever, what have you, um, that she's really not on top of right now. She's not in control of, and she shouldn't be out there whipping other people up. It's not responsible. We get the Star and the Knight of Cups. I think that there is hope, not so much for her ideals, but for things to mellow out and for people to reject, more people to be willing to reject what she's saying people should be out there doing. People are looking for hope and feeling that very much emotionally, then wanting, I think, to be angry. It takes a lot of energy to be angry like that. And I think that there's just some people that are just not going to be able to sustain that kind of personal feeling that she has unless they've, are in that whole world themselves. There's going to be some dishonesty on her part, I think, legally brought up at some point. The delusional ideas once again. And I don't know if it's in connection to Trump's delusion or her delusion, their shared delusion, but it's pointed out, and the cruelty, the bullying that it promotes, and people that basically are just waiting to see how that ends up manifesting. There's a lack of being in touch. There's disconnection. There's a lack of concern. There's not, she's not connected to empathy, really. I think she's just focused on certain things and blinkered. And her emotions, I think, are flat. And she's got people around her. The King of Cups, I think that's Patel, trying to maybe make a friendship or a bond or something else. I don't know. Um, an agreement, working on it, working on pushing it. She's really going to go, again, that manic kind of a throw herself into stuff that's really intense following his passing. And she's going to stay, I think, on Patel's butt for some reason, being that he's the head of the FBI. And I think she thinks he can pull strings. He's going to be targeted by this woman. Couldn't happen to a better I think she's going to give both him and Trump a headache. I really do. I feel like authorities are going to feel like, oh man, this is a pain in the ass that she keeps whipping up trouble and is creating more stress for us. Maybe she's going to be given money and made to go away. That could happen, her move on from it. There's corruption with her, though, and her actions. She's still coming from a negative place, a place of wanting to control things through violence or disruption, not through peace, not through harmony or right action. She's not getting any better. I feel like there is some kind of, I think friends might encourage her to heal, to pull back, but no. She's a Scorpio in the moon time here, and she is pursuing uh, a dark road. It's going to become clear with the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles that she's working on, especially getting money or funding towards what she wants to set up in regard to as a response to her husband's death, her vehicle of action, so to speak. Um, and I predict she's going to run into trouble, run afoul of the law. She's just going to be so focused, I think, in her own grief that I don't think that she's seeing the bigger picture. She's not seeing what more people are seeing about her, her husband, what's this whole thing in society. She's down here in her grief, and that's where she's coming from. And she's going to go back to the past and be living in the past, I think, a lot. So I'm going to leave that there for right now. She's going to be a problem and a headache. And I do think she could whip up sentiment, at least out of one male, that could take action, that could do something. And I hope that does not happen. All right. I'm going to leave that right here. Please feel free to share what your thoughts are. I'm very curious. Indeed, I read all my comments when YouTube isn't eating them. Uh, or, you know, or they're not horrible. And generally, I don't get horrible comments. Generally, I don't. So anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video or live. Take care.